Aries rising. How you doing, Aries? This is your reading for the Libra full moon. Ishalema doela di anima. Dishalema doela di anima. Doela di anima. Dishalema. Hello and welcome. My name's Chloe. I work with card divination, astrology, and as you just heard and as you can see, I channel multi-dimensional energies through my body, both in the form of physical and vocal light language. This brings in healing, attunement, and activation codes to the messages that want to come through for you today in this reading. And yes, I'm recording this after the full moon. It happened today at 20 minutes past midnight here in the UK. But I work with 6-month cycles, so even though it's a full moon and it represents an element of completion, we then get an activation code that then we work with over the next 6 months, and this will take us up to the Libra new moon in Libra season. So you're not missing out on any of the messages and any of the energy that's coming through in this reading. And this full moon was a bit of a doozy. I read for the rising sign, so for those of you who do not have Aries in the first house, look to the house it does fall in your natal chart. Look to the themes of that house, and you want to apply those themes along with all the other meaning you've got going on in the sign of Aries to the messages that come through, because it will be as if that Aries energy, wherever it falls in your natal chart, has now energetically moved to the first house. So the astrology for the rising sign will always still link in. You've just got to add on your own natal chart meaning on top of it. For example, I've got Aries up in the 9th house, so I'd apply the themes of the 9th, and I've got my midheaven there. So I'd apply that meaning as well to the messages that want to come through in this reading. As always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. So this full moon was pretty hardcore. The sun was in your sign, Aries, conjunct Chiron, and the moon was opposite it. And both the sun and the moon and Chiron were square Mars, the ruler of your sign. But Mars and Venus were trying one another, but Venus was retrograde and went direct an hour after the full moon. So that retrograde energy is still locked into this full moon. So it's a mixed bag of struggle, of clearing out some big karmic stuff. This is the first lunation without the south node being in the sign of Libra. It's closing out the eclipse cycle. As well as a rebirth, a re-energy, an emergent energy coming from all this discombobulation, all this sort of stuff that's been going on in the lead up to this full moon. So we're going to be getting 3 cards and the card at the bottom of the deck. And the first card is going to be what's been released, what Chiron wound has been released with this full moon, right? The master healer, but you know, the wounded words. Chiron represents deep soul wounds that we are here to transmute and turn into wisdom, and so it can bring a lot of archetypal stuff to the surface. So you may have noticed that in the lead up to this full moon. Certainly I have, and I've noticed the people that I've interacted with and communicated with have been feeling it. So we're going to get a card on what's been closed out, what Chiron wound has been closed out for us. And then we're going to get a card of what's the most integrated, expansive intention of the download that came in with the full moon that you're then going to be working with over the next 6 months. And we'll also get a card on how to work with that energy, how to amplify that energy. And we're also going to be using 2 oracle decks to get some cards at the end of the reading. So, my lovely Aries rising, where was this happening? Well, this was opposite your sign, over in the 7th house, right? The house of the other. That's one-on-one important relationships in your life. Right? This is how you understand yourself in regards to the other, what you need for the other in order to feel in your power, right? Can be business partners, it can be one-on-one clients, intimate friends, long-term committed romantic relationships, as well as your relationship with source. It's like where you commit, right? How you show up one-on-one and what's important to you and what frequency is important to you. And you had a full moon there, right? An illumination. Ooh, okay, This feels like a bit of a pre-shuffle energy. We got the Ace of Cups in reverse. Itala disceli modoela di anima. The Tower and the King of Pentacles. So something's been come crashing down that's blocked your manifestation. So the full moon in the 7th, right? You may have found yourself being one-on-one with somebody, and observing like what's important to you in that kind of one-on-one relationship, whether it's with a friend or whatever. It's just a real deepening and understanding of what's important to you when it comes to committing one-on-one, how you show up, how you want the other to show up, how you want to interact with each other. And as I said, the sun was over in your sign, Aries, conjunct Chiron. So it may have brought up some big wounds around the self in regards to how the other is interacting with you. And this moon would have been bringing in a dynamic of deep healing, a deep liberation, and a rebirth around your power and the power of the other and how they come together. As I said, they were both squaring Mars. And Mars is over in the sign of Cancer, which is in your 4th house of your roots and your foundations, your ancestors, both blood and soul lineage, the roof over your head, your parental figures, and the things that you do in your private space. It's your foundations, right? So it's the home space. It's how you build, right, together with the other. There may have been some big wound that's come up, say with somebody that you live with, and that you've done some deep healing work around it, and you're able to build from a stronger foundation now, right? But that may not have been in the literal sense. It could be in the figurative sense, where you've just had a scenario that's shown up where you've gone, actually, no, this is not how I want to move from my place of power. This is not how I want to build. And you've been honoring yourself in that way of being very... finding your inner equilibrium and finding your way of expressing. Just got the 8 of Swords show up. Itala di anima. There's some limitations that have been falling away of how you want to express yourself when it comes to the other and build from a very strong, nurturing place. Itala di shili. So given what I've observed and what's been going on in terms of this full moon, the opposite of that may have been showing up. That's really made you question and go deep within of like, okay, how am I still going to show up despite this, right? How am I going to reorientate and go in a different direction? Am I going to disconnect from certain dynamics and allow myself to be more fully in my own power and my own needs, and have my needs being met? And really allow, because Venus, right? Venus, the ruler of this moon, is over in Pisces, which is in your 12th house, your hidden house, your house of mysteries, right? And in that space of the unconscious, it's the unconscious realms, right? The hidden realms. And those unconscious realms can have a lot of conditioning, a lot of collective, social and individual conditioning on how we behave and how we want to move. And as I said, Venus was retrograde at the moment of the full moon, which is allowing a deeper space to go really, really deeper into unconditional love and really reflect on what that means, right? And what's really, truly, madly important for you. And that was influencing the moon, right? Of where, you know, you might have found yourself leaning towards things that, okay, maybe not. Oh God, there's just so many threads that I want to bring in. There may have been situations that have highlighted unconscious, distorted love languages of what you're drawn to in terms of nourishment with the other, right? And you may, and when these things happen, when these things happen, it's because the universe is giving you the space to experience something, to realize, okay, well, how does that make me feel? Does that feel like it's connected to me? Does that feel like a distorted impulse? Does it even seem like it's in my frequency anymore? You know, some really hardcore healings showing up with Venus being in your 12th retrograde. You're going the next 6 months with this imprint around the other and love languages you may have picked up from your parental figures, Mars in the 4th. That you're navigating with this frequency a deeper awareness of what's yours and what's not yours. Oh, they're just releasing a lot from the back of my body. Might want to check out the Libra reading. I was talking about how I'm noticing there's like a coating when I'm interacting with people. I'm noticing there's this barrier, this plastic barrier of conditioning that's stopping our true instincts from picking up the right signals that are in alignment with our soul's frequency. And I feel like this full moon is helping us be in awareness of where they are and do the work to release them. So that Venus energy was influencing the moon from the 12th of like what deep wounds may have been coming up from the unconscious spaces around the other that may have impacted how you see yourself, right? Whether that is a friend or a business partner or a client, source or a lover, it would have activated something deeply profound within you. Where you're like, oh, wait a minute, this feels part, like a deep wound that is no longer part of you, right? It is just bringing it up. You may have observed yourself, observed your responses and been like, where did this come from? Because we've been given a lot of space at the moment to recalibrate our instincts. This is what's going on with Neptune in your sign, Aries. If you haven't caught the Neptune transit series, I really recommend it because it's the work that we do this year. I'm going to be banging on about it. Sorry, regulars. I know I'm repeating myself quite a lot in all these transmissions. We're in a year 9 and we're in a year of the wood snake. And the astrology that's happening this year and next year, it's not seen in thousands of thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Okay? So Neptune in your sign, Aries, is recalibrating your instincts, right? And so you've just had a really powerful transmission when it comes to the other, and the other so often defines how we show up. We give away our power. We distort how we truly are. And all of those distortions help us go deeper within and go, well, what is it that I truly want to be and how I truly want to show up and how I truly want to commit with another person in any given moment? It's not about longevity, but it's in the present moment. What am I picking up on the frequencies, right? What dynamics am I engaging with that are legitimate or distortions? Venus over in the 12th influencing this moon is helping you bring a lot of stuff from the surface that is not yours. It's not yours. And Mars, the ruler of you, Aries, is wanting you to build from a place of strength, from a place of security. And even though Venus was retrograde, Venus was trine Mars. So they are working together to uproot some real karmic clearing stuff, right? That we're then, even though this full moon, I feel like, has brought a lot to the surface already to clear out, there's still going to be stuff to do, but we're going to be surrounded by so much support and love and strength to be like, okay, we can handle the next level of right? This card says emergence, of what we're emerging into a new space, and we're having to reorientate and re-navigate back to like the genuine nature of self. And with Venus being in the 12th for you, right, it is really, I love Venus in the 12th. She really does clear up and connect the dots and harmonize the unconscious realms at such a profound level. of harmonizing your true love, your true magic, and being able to bring that. And she's going to be moving back into your sign, Aries. Of understanding your deep unconditional love within. I feel like just generally collectively there is a collective reading where I've gone into a lot more detail of the astrology. The astrology was wild. Dicele molto fine my anima, isha nina moyana molto finima, niana moyana mayet tishanima, dishani moyana manianima. I'm wanting you to have a bonus card, ishali moyana dianima. I just generally like feel that we're clearing a lot of bullshit away. Right, that we're the sort of awareness of the interconnectedness of all things and the multiple possibilities. When it feels like the scarcity complex in terms of our interactions with others is dissolving, which is allowing more of a sense of, okay, well, what do I truly need and what do I truly want come through, rather than all getting the scraps from the table, right? So very powerful, deep shamanic healing work around how you connect, how you commit, how the other does with you, and build from a very strong place that serves your magic and serves your power, Aries. Right, okay, let's get into your cards. So this, I've just remembered what this is. This is what the block, the Chiron wound that has been released with this moon, right? Because inherently that moon is bringing us back to an inner state of equilibrium for us to observe with empathy and objectivity our reality and find our inner truth, right? By releasing a big core wound with that Chiron moon conjunction. Sorry, Chiron Sun conjunction. I was just thinking of when Neptune moved into your sign, Aries, the moon was conjunct Chiron. So what I'm saying, this year, the healing work that we do, the soul retrieval work that we do, will be worth it. The two phrases that have been very prominent, well, one of them has been very prominent for a while now, which I keep wanting to bring in, is hold the line. Hold the line. You've got this. You're stronger than you think you are. You've got this. Hold the line. Basically, keep the faith. And the other one that came through with the Neptune transit was buckle up, buttercup. As in, we're in for a ride. There is a buckle. There is the safety net. We are safe, but it's a ride. And trust, because it's taking us back to our truths, our innocence, our inherent nature. And it just helps give a bit of perspective. I've been going through a lot of stuff at the moment. I'm speaking from my experience, speaking from the people that I talk to and interact with. And it's the more you sort of realize, okay, no, this is a bit of a roller coaster right now. And we got to trust in it, because it is fundamentally shifting our vessel, our mind, our spiritual nature to evolve and create more space for the upgrades. Right, okay, so what is the wound that has been released? LOL, Emperor in reverse. I mean, when that came out as the first card, I was like, oh, Aries isn't fucking around. So the block around the self, right? The agency of understanding your own nature, your own divinity, right? You know, when the other can distort us so much, it can dysregulate us and dysregulate how we show up. And for the Emperor to come in reverse as the block that's being cleared with this full moon is so fucking powerful. Yeah, I'm sorry for all the swearing. I mean, I'm not sorry, but I do have to. I'm aware of the mindfulness, but I don't know. It's the intention behind the words, right? And I'm British. We swear a lot, and they hold a lot of power. right? The confidence for me to be able to go, fuck this is hardcore, this is badass boss shit, right? And not bat an eyelid that somebody's going to be nervous about that, because it's not about disrespecting people's sensitivities. It's not, it's our lack of trust that they're going to pick up, that they're not going to pick up on the signals that we're sending in the tone, in the intention, rather than the word itself, right? This is where we're headed, where we're clear. As I said, the coating, this like plastic coating, is being broken open, so we are able to truly connect and resonate with people in a genuine way, where we're not hypersensitive, because the acknowledgement of the intent is there. Right, okay, so you got a bonus card here. This is the intention, the most integrated and expansive intention of what this download from the full moon is going to be up to over the next 6 months, up until the Libra new moon that you're working with. Okay, so this is the vibe. And we've got the 5 of Swords in reverse and the 3 of Wands, which is the Sun in Aries. That you're moving beyond conflict, you're moving beyond domination, victim mentality, bully mentality, this back and forth, this this for me is the most difficult card in tarot, right, that we are working with, right? This is the, as I said, the bully and the victim cycle. It is the scarcity, the fear mindset, the self-righteousness, the feeling hard done by, the pain in which someone has to go through in order to feel joy of taking things from others for the pure sake of it, right? It's really hardcore energy, but it's conflict of the mind, it's conflict of words, it's conflict of intention. Okay, interesting. So the conflict of intention, that's kind of what I was talking about. We're moving into a space where we're not on, our instincts are more in alignment with the 5 of Swords in reverse, where we're not tapping into, we're not expecting the conflict, because our soul energy is vibrating more from our instincts and our life force, so everyone's more at peace, right? So this full moon is bringing in this level of deep confidence with self, right? Aries, you're embarking on a new journey. You've got an Aries card showing up for a Libra moon, right, with the other of you being in your power. This is saying you just show up and do the best that you can, right? Know that you're embarking on a new journey, right? You're in a very powerful place, with that clearing out of the Emperor being reversed, and learning to trust ourselves, learning to trust what it is that we need and what it is that we want from other people, and showing up from a place of non-conflict and doing the best that we can. And it's up to anybody else to then engage with that, right? It's not for you to try and control it. This feels like a really nice rebalancing, and a real sense of peace. What was I saying? That Venus in the 12th, the Sun in Aries, it's the I am, double down on the I am, not the conditioning, not the old ways of happening, the old ways of being, old love languages that may have been that kind of conflict energy. And as I said, not just romantic, it's just how you interact one-on-one with people, right? Of there always being this sort of back and forth, and it's like, no, now you are stripping yourself back to your frequency and how you want to build. Yeah, you're embarking on a fresh new adventure, Aries, when it comes to how you interact with the other and how the other interacts with you. And it's Aries. It's just very, very powerful, my loves. Right, how to work with the energy, how to amplify that 3 of Wands. And we've got the moon in Libra. Oh my goodness. Couldn't be more astrologically apt. Right, okay, give yourself the space and the grace to go within and realize, to see this figure has left their homeland. They've traveled across the ocean and now they're at the new realm, right? And now they're figuring out, well, who am I now? What have I learned? What do I want to be in this new landscape? Right? What is my inner balance now? What is my inner harmony? What is my inner truth? It's a pause card. So it is saying, give yourself the space to recalibrate. While still showing up and doing the best that you can. But it is also saying, give yourself a moment to process, to think and contemplate about your own truth, right? And how you want to bring that to the table, how you might want to do, I mean, the Two of Swords is always sort of like a meditation card, and allowing the inner whispers of your soul to come forward. And yeah, I mean, tied in with the fact that Venus retrograde is locked into your 12th house in terms of your figuring out your understandings of the other for the next 6 months, right? That's pretty hardcore. As I said, this year is a hardcore year. There's a stillness that they want you to find that takes you beyond the clutter, that takes you beyond the drama, that Five of Swords in reverse, and really find more space to understand your deep universal truth of love, right? Having Pisces in the 12th is the unconditional love of Pisces is very much your magic, right? It's your power up, and there are distortions in the field that have got you where you've needed to get to, and now it's just, I'm just probably repeating the same message over and over again of, as I said, give yourself the space and the grace to acknowledge that you are in a new timeline, that you're in a new frequency, and it's not scrapping the past, but how do you truly want to show up? How do you truly want to show up beyond the bullshit, right? Beyond that Five of Swords, beyond the rah, I'm not feeling seen, rah, rah, rah. What is your true nature? What are your true needs when it comes to union from a deeper understanding of who you are and how you want to show up, right? So what does that mean for the other, and what you need from the other, and what's important to you from the other? So at the bottom of the deck, they just wanted me to split the deck, and we got the Eight of Wands. So this is a little nod about alignment, that the process that you're going through is taking you to a higher level of alignment, right? By allowing a deeper clarity to come through. So at the bottom of the deck, Nine of Pentacles. Okay, so this is the root energy of this figure. Knew what they needed to do, and they made the right decisions that served their holistic life. Happy self, happy home, happy work, happy friends, happy life, right? Abundance, abundance, abundance. They knew what to do, and they made the steps to get there, right? So this is really saying, when you go within, when you give yourself the time and the space, Aries, you might want to meditate on the Nine of Pentacles of what does that feel like to you? How do you think this person would operate? Now that you've stepped into your power, right, and you want to show up every day and do the best that you can, what does that landscape look like for you? With that Nine of Pentacles is really it's very grounded energy. It's very the desire to manifest abundance in a way that's healthy and nurturing and nourishing. It's Venus in Virgo. And obviously Virgo for you is in your 6th house of work and how you work and physical health. It's also about co-workers and therefore collaboration, right? And so if you don't I think the 6th house is always the gateway to the 7th, because if you don't understand how you work and what's important to you, and you're not able to communicate that with other people, how are you supposed to have healthy relationships? So there's a real focus on things need to feel nourishing, things need to feel sustaining and holistic, right? As in not going to extremes. Right, giving from your saucer, not from your cup kind of energy. Oh, there we go. But it's a really powerful spread in terms of, I just feel a great sense of resonance in your energy, Aries. That with that Mars locked into your 4th house of like building to serve your foundations, that things are going to shift and change in how you operate. Okay, then went in this one. And Mars rules your sign, Aries. So it's really powerful in terms of what's right for your foundations of how you build from your home. Yeah, that two of Swords is just calling you to give yourself the space and the grace to figure out, okay, well, what decisions do you want to make in this new space? So we have we've got the moon, light of the feminine, Libra got that. Sacred wisdom, the high priestess, deepest feelings and thoughts, inner world, instincts, intuition, needs, habits, moods, yin feminine energy, worry and anxiety. So that's really interesting with they're doubling down on like, give yourself this space to figure out what you need in this new environment, in this new frequency, right? Of what go deep, that, as I said, the work we do this year, we pull back, is really getting us to activate our higher self in the embodiment in our 3D incarnation. And so there may be some clutter that you think is important in your life, but by being introspective and going even further in, you're like, oh, actually, that there's a deeper thing underneath that. That's going to emerge. We've got the 5th house, pleasure, strength and the sun. Create a life filled with joy, romance, fun, joy, creativity, hobbies, self-expression, inner child, dating, good fortune, fertility, children, right? I like this in terms of the inner child, right? With Venus over in the 12th of the unconscious responses of that we learn from our early years in terms of our love language. And so they're saying there's some healing going on here that's allowing you to tap back more into the joy and the romance of life rather than the conflict, that 5 of Swords in reverse. And focus on the joy. Okay, let's have a little read of what's going on here. The moon, you are deeply connected with your own divinity. Your inner world and intuition is very strong at this moment. Any answers you might be seeking will be found within you. Trust yourself and your abilities. And the shadow side is emotions are running high in a chaotic mess. There's a big need for surrender, self-love, and nurturing your needs. 5th house, fun times is coming ahead. with a bunch of positive energy. You can use this in any way you feel called to. It'll be a good time for pleasure, romance, or creative projects. Your inner child needs your immediate attention, love, and care. Now, Mars is going to be moving into your 5th house soon. It's in less than a week now from this moon. So there's going to be a focal point. There's going to be a real shift of the energy that's wanting you to cultivate that joy, cultivate that sense of where your love comes from, where your creation energy comes from. Itala dice le modufala di anima, tufi anima, Dinah dice le moyana, dufala. So we have Jafel, trust the unfolding, and this was weirdly enough at the bottom of the deck for Libra. There is no wrong path, only choices that take you closer to or further from love. Jafal's name means the beauty of God, and she is an angel of light and grace here to help us find the beauty of life. She is mentioned in many mystical texts, including the Zohar, the central book in Kabbalah, as the guardian of the Torah, and is often considered as a keeper of the Garden of Eden. As her name suggests, she is all about honouring beauty and finding beauty in all things. With her connection to the Garden of Eden, she's associated with nature and best felt outdoors in nature. You know, moving from conflict, from the block, from the disconnection of self, and finding more of the beauty in your own life, finding more of the joy. Even though you've got different cards, the reading is very similar to Libra. This is quite wild. Your life is forever unfolding, constantly responding to your actions, choices, and even your non-actions. Right now, you are asking the angels what you are supposed to do next, or asking God to show you the way forward. But you are giving off mixed signals. You've asked for one thing, but your actions are indicating something different, and the angels need you to be consistent in order to help you on your way. To reach your maximum potential, you need to be clear about your intentions and actions. So operating from a place of non-conflict. Know that no matter what choices you've made and accidents you've had along the way, your life is unfolding as it needs to. Angels and the divine aren't judging you because that's not their purpose and it's not within their makeup. They're here to love you, and by accepting even just a fraction of that love, you will unlock the power that will set you on your way. If you find yourself at a crossroads right now, ask yourself this: what is going to bring me closer to love? Choose that. That feels like the Two of Swords energy of really because the 7th house is about contracts. It's about commitment. It's about integrity, doing right by people, doing right by something other than yourself. And that is love, right? Choose that. Then the angels will be able to guide you. Right, at the bottom of the deck, we've got Gemini, I think, the lovers. Finding solutions, lol, with that Two of Swords. Intelligent, curious, innovative, playful, insightful, quick-witted, social, outgoing, superficial, gossip, inconsistent. Now, that is definitely a reflection on that Two of Swords of finding your inner truth, finding solutions and being open and curious about new solutions that aren't based on conflict, that aren't based on the old wounds. We've got Amethyst, metamorphosis. You are in a vortex of deep transformation. Surrender to the process that's unfolding. Yeah, I can understand with that Five of Swords being in reverse as the sort of bonus card with the Three of Wands, because it's acknowledging that it was in the upright. It's acknowledging, and as I said, it's the most difficult card for me in tarot for the collective, that we are navigating our way out of the Five of Swords collectively in our instinctive body, and finding that inner equilibrium and that inner peace rather than that conflict. So trust in your emergence energy, trust in the unfolding that's going on, trust in the process this year. Show up, be the best that you can be in any given moment. Do right by the people in your life, do right by yourself. It's up to them what they do. But with that Emperor in reverse being cleared out, you're in your power, Aries. Yeah, work with it from a place of love, and a place of joy. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it gave you some support. If it did, hit that like button, leave me a comment. I love to hear from you. If you want a personal reading, my website is everywhere. Or if you want to pay by PayPal, email me directly. But other than that, my lovely Aries, be good to yourselves, be good to those around you, safe travels, and be well until we meet again.